We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and our 2017 movie list.
No, we're not going to do that.
Alright, hello everyone, my name is Parker Bonner and this is my good friend Kyle Stoughton. And we are here creating a video for you all talking about our top 10 movies of 2017.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about some good movies. Obviously, we haven't seen all the movies that came out this year. I counted up, I've seen 42 movies that came out this year, so that leaves, what, like 12,000 I haven't seen.
Yeah, I didn't count the amount of movies I saw, but I've seen a decent amount as well.
I want to mention maybe a couple that I didn't see. I didn't see Mother, which I know was appearing on quite a few top 10 lists. Another one I had interest in seeing that I didn't see was It Comes at Night, which is a horror movie that came out this past year that I didn't end up seeing. I don't know if there are any that you feel like you...
The reality is I didn't see a lot. I haven't seen Mother. Neither of us got to Phantom Thread.
No, it hasn't come out yet in the theaters, and we're not...
Yeah, why don't we just jump into it? Kyle, do you want to start us off with any honorable mentions?
Yeah, so the way we're going to do this, just to prep everyone, we're going to do some honorable mentions, and then we're going to count down. One of us will do our 10 through 6, then the next one will do the 10 through 6, then we'll do 5 through 2, and the next person will do 5 through 2, and then we will reveal our favorite movie.
I think we should guess our number ones.
Okay, let's do it.
Even though I think you totally know mine, and I have a good idea what yours is.
Yeah, you probably know mine, but that's okay. We'll do it for fun.
Right.
So, Parker, do you have any honorable mentions that you want to throw out there?
I do, yeah. I got my little cheat sheet list down here on my lap. But a few honorable mentions that I have. First and foremost, 3 Billboards from, I can't even tell you the rest of the name, Missouri somewhere.
Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Outside Ebbing, Missouri. It was an enjoyable movie. It was kind of long, I thought, but it was. If you like movies that deal with character development and strong character arcs, great performances.
Yeah, I didn't quite make my list either, but I thought it had some of the best acting of the year, and
from the whole cast, not just like the specific cast, performance.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Frances McDormand get nominated, or Sam Rockwell was really good in it too. What else you got?
A few others I have is, so this one's going to surprise you. The Disaster Artist is an honorable mention on my list.
I was going to shock you. That's an honorable mention on mine also.
Really? Wow.
Which is shocking because Parker knows we saw that movie together, and I loved that movie.
Yeah.
I walked out like just having a great time.
I think that's a testament to the movies from this year, and
there were so many good ones. There were. I mean, that was. To be frank, that was number 11 on my list, and it just missed the cut.
It was honestly earlier today on my list. It was back and forth, and then I put in a wild card for my number 10.
Oh, my list was shifting throughout this past weekend, probably. Do you have any other ones you want to mention?
Yeah, a few others. I'll just run through them real fast. The Big Sick, saw that recently and enjoyed it. Wonder Woman. I thought that was a really fun superhero movie, the best one DC's put out by a landslide. Sure. Lego Batman movie. Yes, that came out in 2017.
That was fun.
Way long ago.
Surprisingly hilarious.
And yeah, that's what I got for my list.
Okay. Yeah, I liked all the movies that you mentioned. Some other ones that I had on my list were, I liked It a lot. I know you weren't quite as big, or
no,
you were really big.
Yeah, I was big.
Okay, so It was one that I liked. The Post was one.
I forgot to mention that. The Post
yeah, The Post I really enjoyed.
We just saw that the other night.
Saw it last night, and I enjoyed a lot of that. Logan Lucky was one that I really liked. It's a Steven Soderbergh heist movie.
I thought you were about to say Logan. I was like,
no, might hear from that one later. Mudbound, it's a Netflix original movie, and kind of about the Jim Crow South, and it was a really good one. Murder on the Orient Express, which to me that was the surprise of the year because I didn't expect it to necessarily be as good as it was, and to me I really enjoyed it. And then one last one I'll mention, just kind of the weird movie of the year that surprised me, is A Ghost Story. And that's not a movie for everyone, but it's really a thought-provoking movie, and if you have really good patience, I think you could get a lot out of it. But it's definitely not for everyone. So that's my honorable mentions.
Let's get this started.
Okay, my number 10 favorite movie of 2017 is I, Tonya, which if someone told me that a movie about Tanya Harding was going to be in my top 10 list of the year, I would have probably thought they were crazy. But this movie was just, did you end up seeing this?
This is one I didn't get to. It was one I wanted to get to so badly, but it just hasn't been in the theaters where we are, so I haven't had the opportunity to get to it.
I really liked I, Tonya. It has, Margot Robbie was fantastic in it. She, probably her best acting performance I've seen as Tanya Harding. And then, I don't know the name, which I hate not knowing the name of the actresses, because I want to give them the credibility, but the actress who played the mom, she recently won the Golden Globe, but she was fantastic, and I think she deserves the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. I loved the movie, and I loved the look at Tanya Harding's life that I had never seen before. It was really interesting. We don't know, how much is true of the story. It's based on actual words from Tanya Harding and her ex-husband. But it is a really fun movie, and it's got some of that meta humor that like the Big Short had back in 2015. And it's just a really enjoyable movie. Some smart dialogue, and it's a recommended watch for me for sure. My number 9 movie is going to be Molly's Game. So this movie is starring Jessica Chastain.
If I could just add something, I forgot to mention that one in my honorable mentions
Honorable
as
mentions,
well.
yeah. It's a really fun movie. It's written and directed by Aaron Sorkin.
I love the dialogue.
Master of dialogue. He's made one of my favorite movies in The Social Network, and this lived up to the hype for me. I thought
he didn't make The Social Network, he wrote it.
He wrote The Social Network, that's right. And this lived up to the hype majorly for me. I was really excited about this one. It's an Aaron Sorkin original movie.
Isn't this his first directing?
It is his first directed movie, and he really brought the characters to life. Jessica Chastain did a great job acting, and I just loved the quippy dialogue throughout Molly's Game. It had some of the best poker scenes I've seen in movies, because a lot of times when you're watching movies, you'll see these poker games that are like, I don't know if you've seen Casino Royale, but people are getting like straight flushes like every third hand, and you're like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But this, it just shows you how to play poker.
Something I loved about this movie was just its ability to weave in and out of narration and dialogue so naturally. I think a lot of movies will fall flat on something like that, or they rely on narration, voiceover as just kind of an exposition.
It was definitely
fest,
seamless in how it, and Idris Elba was awesome also, playing Molly's lawyer.
Yeah.
But that was a really fun one. I'll move on to my number 8 movie of the year. Some people might be surprised to see this as low as it is, but Logan is my number 8 movie. Starring Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, the last movie that he made in the franchise. It was definitely, for me, the best superhero movie of the year. I would say it had a lot deeper themes than most superhero movies would dare to have in this day and age. Just a lot surrounding like aging and even themes around family, loss, and I think phenomenal acting all around. The best acted superhero movie for me since The Dark Knight, I'd say, with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Professor X played by Patrick Stewart. And I found the idea of, they really took this movie and like made it, fit it into a genre. Like it was a Western movie, really, from start to finish. And I came out of that movie really mesmerized with how solid of a film it was. I really enjoyed it. I saw it back in March or whatever, and it stuck with me.
I love the emotion behind this movie, and I think that's a testament not to just this movie specifically, but Hugh Jackman over the course of 17 years, I think, playing as Wolverine. But some of the best performances by him and Patrick Stewart as well.
Yeah.
That scene with Patrick Stewart, his final scene, where he goes out, don't want to spoil it too much, but
incredible.
the emotional impact behind that was just
Yeah.
really great.
And I don't know, we might end up seeing that on your list. I don't know your list, obviously, but we'll find out. Yeah, so my number 7 movie is Wind River. This was a movie that was really impactful in the way it told its story, and definitely had some deep themes running throughout. So you had Jeremy Renner played this kind of this like I think he was a wildlife reserve kind of guy but he kind of gets turned into a cop for the movie's sake, and he's tracking down to find out who raped and murdered this Native American girl on this reservation. And then Elizabeth Olsen comes in as the FBI agent, kind of new to the situation and not familiar with Native American customs. It's really interesting to watch her like fit in and watch Jeremy Renner's expertise. Best Jeremy Renner performance I've ever seen. I really think he's a great actor. I don't know if you've seen like The Hurt Locker and what's the other one The Town. Both of those are movies that he's great in, but this was my favorite performance, and it's one that went very under the radar that I think people need to check out, especially if they love a crime story.
Yeah, this is one that I haven't seen from this past year, but it's one that I've heard a lot about in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
It just kind of popped up out of nowhere in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'd say this is like the best of the most underseen movies of 2017. I guess I have one more before I let you
one
go.
more, number 6, let's hear it.
It pains me to not have this movie higher because I loved it so much. And I saw it pretty early on in the year. My number 6 movie is War for the Planet of the Apes.
All right.
I love the Planet of the Apes new franchise. I think it's great. But this movie to me was the best of the trilogy. And I know that there's some disagreement on that, but for me, this had the greatest emotional resonance and impact. I thought it was Andy Serkis's best performance of all time. He played Caesar phenomenally. He deserves an acting nomination for what he's done throughout this trilogy. It is definitely not a fast-paced movie, but it kind of follows biblical themes and allusions, which I found really intriguing, and it hit home emotionally, which is incredibly impressive following apes.
Yeah, it's also interesting because there was some disappointment from this movie that I know that I've heard from people because of the title in ways about being War for the Planet of the Apes. And
it was definitely a poor title choice, but to me, I would rather have seen this movie than a war.
I think both of you and I can agree on this. For me at least, is movies that emotionally invest you, I think, in the characters and the story are much more compelling than the big action warfare blockbuster movies. Not to say that those movies can't have that.
I mean,
like this movie.
Occasionally, but this one hit home for me, and I absolutely love it. And it's shocking to me that's only number 6 because I love 5 movies even more. But it is your turn, my friend.
All right, so I'm
6 through 10.
going to start this one out with a little bit of a wild card. Probably not one that's on a lot of people's top 10 lists, but my number 10 pick is Wonder. Wonder, actually.
I liked Wonder a lot.
Yeah.
I was very surprised with how much I liked it.
Yeah, so basically this movie is just about a young boy who is dealing with entering into middle school, the first time he's entering into a public school with major facial defects and just problems from birth and having to deal with that. And it's a story about friendship and kind of defining who you are and finding yourself and not being afraid to be yourself. And I just love this movie. I love the way it comes together. I love the different storylines it kind of hits from different perspectives of here's this one boy and it's not just a story about this one boy and his experiences, but it's a movie about this boy and all the different people that are impacted by this one boy.
Now, was this possibly the best movie starring Chewbacca of the year?
I don't
We'll-
know.
we'll
We'll
have
have
to
to
find
find
out.
out. Yeah, yeah. But it was up there as one of the best, definitely starring Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Star Wars fan, so it was very delightful to see all the Star Wars references
Really liked
in this movie.
Really liked Wonder.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
So my number 9 pick, which might end up being on your list in the top 5, is Get Out. So I didn't see this movie in theaters. I saw this months after it came out. It was one of those movies that just kept getting away from me, but finally coming together. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good thriller and well written, a lot of misdirection. It's got really good themes. Obviously, movies like this that kind of touch the social agenda and the social issues that are going on today, that doesn't define a movie for sure, and it's got to be a good movie beyond those themes that it's trying to convey. And I thought the performances were really well. I thought it was well written, and I thought it kept you kind of twisting and turning, trying to figure out what exactly is going on.
Well, based on like you were saying, I've never seen racism addressed in a movie this way before.
Yeah.
I was floored by this movie when I saw it, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think
good.
it's a solid pick to have on that topic.
Yeah. So my number 8 movie is Dunkirk. So it's directed by Christopher Nolan, an epic, large-scale war movie that takes place on the beaches of Dunkirk during World War II as the German army is kind of invading them and push the British and French back against the ocean and kind of trap them in. And so what I love about this movie is just that it's not overly complex. It's not a giant character building thing. It's just a story on survival and the human spirit and what it takes to get through something that's just got your back to the wall and do whatever it takes to get there and stuff.
The editing was
Yes.
masterful.
Yes, that's what I also loved about this movie is the way that it's stitched together, just the different perspectives and the times and stuff like that. A war movie like we've never seen, like you were saying.
Yeah. And I was going to say something, but I will say Christopher Nolan, I would say technically, as far as his directing craft, this has to be one of the best that he's made.
Christopher Nolan does it again. He never fails.
I don't think he's had a bad movie yet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know some people are. I don't think The Dark Knight Rises is great, but I still like it.
I think it's still a well done movie,
Yeah.
but Dunkirk was so great.
Also interesting, Dunkirk had a prequel this year, Darkest Hour.
Yeah,
so-
Darkest Hour was really great too. Great performance by.
Just throw a shout out to Darkest Hour.
Yeah, you just saw that.
Yeah, I just saw it today.
But yeah, Dunkirk was incredible. Thought about putting it a little higher on my list, but there's just certain movies that I enjoyed more in the reality of it. So my number 7. Oops, I lost my list here. My number 7 movie of the year is Logan. And so
Right about where I had it.
also right around where you had it, lower than a lot of people do. But just echoing off of what you said, is just an emotional movie. It didn't focus on being a superhero movie. It didn't like you were saying, it was a Western. It was this emotional bond between father-daughter and these characters, and just really examining them and what it looks like to kind of come to an end of something, and to kind of look at mortality and look at death kind of in its face and say, like, this is it, you know?
Yeah.
And a great conclusion to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Couldn't go out any better, I think.
True.
And, you know, it's just so cool to get to see them over the course of 17 years. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to start a character like that and get to see it close and end out the way that they got to do that. And just a masterful performance.
I think I already said everything I need to about Logan.
Yeah. Like Kyle said, best superhero movie of 2017, hands down.
Number 6.
All right. My number 6 movie of the year, drum roll, is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
It's going to stir up some controversy.
Yeah, it's going to stir up a little controversy. So it is the best movie with Chewbacca of the year.
Oh, okay.
Not Wonder, unfortunately.
I would agree with you on that, actually.
Yes, but I love The Last Jedi. This is the movie I've seen the most on my list because I am such a huge Star Wars fan. Um, yeah, so I've seen this movie 4 times in theaters, and let me tell you, the first time I saw this movie, I left the theater with very, very mixed emotions. I really didn't know how I felt. Some of the risks that it takes, specifically revolving around the Force, really kind of bugged me, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But some things that I loved the first time around was everything that had to do with Rey and Kylo. Their Force connection scenes and the way that they play off of each other was phenomenal. I also really loved Luke in this movie, and I know a lot of people didn't like that
I'm with you, though.
because a lot of people are saying it went against who his character was, but you also have to realize that this movie takes place 30 years after last time we saw Luke. A lot can happen, and the character can change.
And I think you followed, when he realized his mistake, I think he felt
Yeah.
so much guilt.
I think in his core, nothing really changed. Nothing really, really, like, went beyond that line. It's not like he did something immensely evil. He had a moment of a mistake. Because
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker's not perfect either,
Yeah.
And
Anakin is space Jesus, so.
yeah. But I love this movie.
I liked it a lot.
The Snoke scene in his throne room, one of the best choreographed lightsaber fights I've ever seen.
You won't see it in my top 10, but I did like The Last Jedi a lot. I've heard a lot of people ask me how I liked it. I did like it a lot, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Each time I saw it, I loved it more and more, and so this is it. Each time I saw it, went up and up on my list. Eventually, it had to reach a point where there were other movies that I like.
Still 5 movies you like better.
Yeah, but still one of my favorites of the year. So yeah, Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi.
All right, I'll do my 5 through 2 now, I guess.
All right, we're moving into the top 5 people.
Oh, it's exciting.
Real.
Top 5. All right, my number 5 most favorite movie of 2017 was Baby Driver.
All right.
Baby Driver, directed by Edgar Wright, starring, what's his name, Ansel Elgort or something like that. It's some guy with a difficult name, but dang, that movie was fun. Actually, so I've seen this movie tied for the most amount of times of any movie I've seen this year. I've seen Baby Driver 3 times, and it grows on me every time I watch it.
I'm gonna say this. It's not in my top 10, but it's a unique movie, and it's a very well crafted movie, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and I love just the different music that they incorporate and the way that they incorporate the music.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be taken super seriously, but it is a fun movie.
I would say, so for me, I mean, this is probably my second favorite heist movie, second or third, after, I'd say after Ocean's 11 and possibly The Town. But I really, really thought that Baby Driver was fun, unique, and something that I would watch again and again and again because of the way that these scenes were choreographed and edited. And performances were good, especially from the supporting cast, and it was something that I will surely go back and watch many times in the future.
Yeah. Just to let you all know, sorry about the different jump cuts that are happening in this video. Our camera keeps kind of stopping mid-recording for us. I think it's a SD card issue that it's not necessarily compatible with this camera.
So be it.
But
Editing
we're rolling
will get
with it, and we hopefully you all are rolling it with us.
Okay, we're down to my 4th favorite movie of the year. My 4th favorite movie of 2017 surprised me. I would not have expected it to be in my top 10 at the start of the year. It was a little movie called Coco. I loved Coco. I thought it was an amazing tale, and I thought it was incredibly fun. And I really enjoyed the music too. I enjoyed the way that they incorporated and it reminded me in the sense that they did such a good job with the Mexican culture.
Yeah.
Made me think of Moana, like with the Hawaiian culture.
It was great for them to dive into a different culture that's not represented much in film. But for me, that's not what it's about. That's not why it's a good movie at all. It's just a really well-made movie overall because of the characters and the development of those characters and the story and the animation.
Yes.
Animation, definitely Pixar's best work.
Yeah. Amazing movie. My number 3
We're getting
was
to
a
the nitty-gritty
movie.
now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, and just to preface this, these top 3 movies for me were on another level from my
The rest of your list.
from the rest of my list.
Okay.
So this is like a big jump in quality to me. My number 3 movie was one you had mentioned already. It's Get Out. We talked already about this movie, but I'll just talk a little more about how I've never seen race addressed in a movie like this. It could have easily gone really preachy, but it didn't. It went incredibly thought-provoking, incredibly entertaining, and had a score that I really loved. I like to mention scores that I like, and I really like the score of Get Out. I really liked the acting, and I really liked the twists. It didn't pull any punches. It was willing to do some bold things.
Also, let's not forget, I don't know the side characters of the actor's name, but his buddy in TSA, I thought he was the perfect comic relief
Yeah,
character.
it was good comic relief.
And it wasn't overdone. There wasn't too much of it, but when he was on screen, there was some genuinely funny
And to
moments.
give some acting shout out, Daniel Kaluuya, I believe is the name of the main actor.
Mhm.
He was fantastic.
Yeah,
So
he was.
I'd say he deserves a nomination. And I have predicted for most of this year, I think Get Out will win Best Picture at the Oscars. My number 2 movie of 2017. Now we're getting real down to it.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to say my number 2 movie, Blade Runner 2049. One of the, if not the best sequels I have ever seen in my life. Probably The Dark Knight is up there, and Empire Strikes Back. But Blade Runner,
It's a sequel, but it
stands on its own.
Yeah.
I saw this movie 3 times in theaters, which is really crazy considering it's a long movie.
It's
and
long and slow. Yes.
But it is really entertaining. And it really makes you think
with the
about the nature of humanity. What would happen in the future if we developed like some kind of AI. It poses a lot of questions, and it is a darn enjoyable movie.
Oh man, I love the director.
Ryan Gosling was great. Denis Villeneuve, the director,
He
is
just pointing out some of my
gold.
favorite films.
I mean,
I
Arrival.
loved Arrival.
Sicario.
Yes.
Prisoners. Goodness, he makes gold.
Yeah.
But
He's becoming one of my favorite directors.
And gosh, I mean, this was close to topping my list, but I had one film that I liked just a little bit more.
I wonder what that could be.
But Blade Runner 2049 is a strong number 2 on my list.
My number 5 movie is It.
Wow.
So this is a movie you thought I didn't enjoy.
I didn't think you enjoyed it, at least not that much.
Yes, definitely my favorite horror movie of the year. I just loved the kids. I loved their performances, and there was no weak link, I thought. The one thing I could have done a little less of was just the profanity, and profanity in movies don't necessarily bother me, but the one kid from Stranger Things, I just thought it was too much at times. It was like, what's the point? What is this serving,
Something that I like to point out about this movie is that it was probably the scariest movie of the year, or at least the scariest movie I saw of the year, and it took place almost all in daytime.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that scary of a movie, but I don't like the horror movies that are just all about jump scares. We were just talking about this. Horror movies that just focus on jump scares are not good horror movies to me. They're cheap. It's not earned. There's nothing good to it. It's these movies that really invest you in the characters and the story, and that are kind of creepy, and that deal with, I don't know, just like some more real world situations and problems and stuff like that. Just beyond Pennywise the clown, like the bully as well as someone that can kind of be an issue and can be a real life threat and stuff like that. But I love the themes dealing with your fears and being able to stand up to them and also let go of tragedies of the past and stuff like that. just a really well done movie. Probably one of the best Stephen King adaptations we've had in a while.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, so my number 4 on this list is Lady Bird.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was one that wasn't on my list.
Yes, I know this.
And I thought it was a very good movie. Yeah, I didn't connect with it as well as a lot of people did. But I will say that I want to say her name right. Is it?
I'm really bad with actors.
I think her name is Saoirse Ronan. Is how you pronounce it. Amazing performance. Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean.
And can you remind me the director's name?
The director was Patty Jenkins?
No, that was Wonder Woman.
Oh. Well.
Neither of us remember the one. We should have done our homework
Okay.
on all this, but
Greta Gerwig.
it was Greta Gerwig.
Gerwig.
Her directing debut, film debut, and she knocked it out of the park. It is a great story with great characters, grounded in reality that just looks at adolescence and growing up and learning also to appreciate your parents and what they do for you growing up.
I love the dynamic between her and her mom.
Her and her mom, that was just such an incredible dynamic. It was so, like I said, it was so real. It was so raw, you know? Like, looking at different scenes and growing up, you can relate, you can understand, you can get into it in that sense. And I really love the ending of this movie. It's so not this grand thing, but that's what this whole movie is. It's not this grand epic or this, it's just life, and it's not life in the sense of Boyhood, but compelling, at least.
Much more compelling than Boyhood.
Yeah,
Much more compelling.
I just love the end though, with the phone call, the voicemail to her mother. She finally reaches a point in her life where she realizes that her mom did all these things of sacrifice and love, and she wasn't perfect, and there was back and forth and there was argument, but everything she did was because she cared and she loved her daughter, and it kind of was in that moment like it finally clicked for her, and I just loved it. I thought it couldn't have ended any better. So that is my number 3. So my number 2 movie of 2017 is...
Oh, no, that was your number 4, right?
No, that was my number 3.
I think you skipped number 4.
Did I skip number 4? Oh my goodness. I did skip
That's fine,
number
just
4.
go for number 4.
Alright, we're going to jump back and
Yeah.
go to number 4 right now. Maybe we'll cut that, maybe we won't, I don't know. So my number 4 movie is The Shape of Water.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
I was like, man, he has Shape of Water. No, yeah.
So I really love The Shape of Water. I know you didn't.
I didn't particularly like The Shape of Water, but I can say there were some very redeeming things about it.
Getting darker here.
For me, namely, the acting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon was scary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I really love this movie, and I really connected with this movie. And I just love, it's a movie about broken people and about just being broken, but being all right with that, and kind of identifying yourself through this creature and through this monster. And I love one of the lines, one of the dialogues back and forth, kind of earlier in the film, where the lead actress is talking to her kind of
I believe
boyfriend.
her name
not
Sally
really.
Hawkins.
Yeah, Sally Hawkins.
Yeah.
Also, Sally Hawkins gave probably the best performance from a female actress of the year.
I would say I would put Saoirse Ronan above her
Okay.
from Labor, but yeah, definitely. One.
I thought she was incredible without speaking, basically, except for
Yeah.
that one kind of weird singing
that
scene.
scene.
That was an interesting scene. But one of my favorite scenes from the movie was when she's talking to her boyfriend, who's not really her boyfriend because he's gay, but her friend, and explaining how this creature looks at her in the way that it looks at her, and it doesn't see the brokenness, and it just accepts her for who she is. And it kind of takes a look at, like, who are we as people to look at people and judge people in that sense, when something that's completely casted off as an outcast, as a creature, a monster, doesn't do that, you know?
Yeah, I really like the emotion in that.
Yeah.
It's like that little monologue she gave.
Yeah, there's some weird things, and there's some interesting things about this movie, but I
it's
really
weird.
I really think overall that it's just a, I don't know, a very touching, phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the score. Unique score.
Very good score.
Really liked it. Number 4, Shape of Water. So now we're going to jump back up, jumped over number 3, and we're going to head straight to number 2, which is, I didn't say it, did I already?
No, you didn't.
Okay, you cut me off just in time. All right, my number 2 on my 2017 list is Coco. Coco is my number 2 movie. We kind of hit it, but Pixar hit it out of the park again. It's been a little while since they really nailed it.
Gosh, why don't they just make original movies every time out though? Because
I know, but sometimes their sequels are really good.
Sometimes Toy Story, I mean, but they bat about 90% with original movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
And each time you think Pixar can't get any higher than they do. A few years ago with Inside Out,
yeah.
and now we have Coco.
Wow.
And we kind of explained it. Love the dynamics, love the character development, love the themes of family, and never abandoning them and betraying them, and embracing who you are, and just good stuff.
Good stuff.
So
All right,
that
so
is my
you're
number
number 2. Now, who wants to predict who's number 1 first?
Well, before we do that, I'm going to switch out a light real fast because I am going black on the screen and you're not. So we will be right back. We're going to cut it, and I'll be brighter. And we're back. Yep.
Okay, so
number
time
1.
to predict. So who's going to predict who's first?
I'll predict yours.
Okay,
I have a good idea of what yours is, and I think you have a good idea of what mine is.
probably.
From deductive reasoning, but also because we talked about our movies.
We talk about what movies we like. I talk about what movies I like in public a lot. So
So I think your number 1 movie, and don't tell me until you guess mine as well, and then we'll reveal it, okay?
Okay.
I think your number 1 movie is Dunkirk.
okay, I think that your number 1 movie is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct.
And you were correct with me as well.
Um,
Kyle, why don't
so,
you go first and
talk
start
about
with
Dunkirk. Well, Dunkirk also is the only movie I wrote an elongated review about this year. So
Wait, that's not true. Didn't you do one of the DC movies?
I didn't write an I
That's right.
made a video.
Well, Batman
but-
v Superman.
but,
you wrote the review.
Yes, but to me, Dunkirk, I mean, I love Christopher Nolan, I love everything he does, and Dunkirk just blew me away. I saw it in the theater, I saw it in IMAX, and the sound was like deafening, and the visuals were blowing up, and it was amazing. Yeah, and oh my gosh, I loved it, and then I ended up seeing it again in theaters a couple days later, I think. But this movie, I mean, it just floored me. While it's definitely not about the acting, but it's so experiential.
How about Harry Styles?
Yeah, I mean, he was fine.
He held up on the screen.
But it was so experiential. It felt like I was on the beach with the soldiers, and I'd never experienced that before in a movie.
The only time I had experienced that, I'm specifically talking with war movies,
Yeah.
was Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Coming onto the beaches of Norway, and
Yeah.
the way that Spielberg did that is probably the closest similarity I
Yeah,
found out.
I mean, maybe the closest to me. It's still. I mean, this was different to me. Even there was just even less dialogue, I think, and it's.
Oh well, yeah. There's a
the
heck of a lot
cameras
less
going in
dialogue.
water and stuff.
And
But
that's a testament to a great filmmaker who doesn't need to rely on dialogue and can emotionally tell his story
yeah,
just through the visual imagery that is going on, and that's
yeah,
something that is underutilized in this medium, I think, in a lot of ways, but incredible. But at the same time, on the flip side of the spectrum, with something like Molly's Game, which has dialogue heavy,
Yeah.
can be
pretty
great
good
as well.
But Dunkirk, yeah, it was my favorite movie of this year. I've talked about it a lot, and written an entire review. If you want to go find it, you can find it on the Great Movie Blog 1.blogspot.com because the Great Movie Blog was taken. So.
Cool. All right, so we're going to talk about my number 1 now, which is, like you said, Blade Runner 2049. Oh my goodness gracious. Let me tell you something. This is one of those movies you have to see in theaters. And I'm sorry because it's out of theaters now. Also, can I just talk about the quote-unquote bomb it was. I mean, it did not get the money that it deserved at the box office.
That's a tragedy because we're not going to get as many movies like that.
I know people didn't show up, which is like, what? Why? It was so well written. One of the best written movies, just with the plot overall. Some of the best acting performances as well. I mean, there's been some great acting performances, but I loved Ryan Gosling. I thought Harrison Ford really did well with what he was given. He wasn't, and let me just say, with Harrison Ford, he wasn't in the movie that much.
No,
He was
no.
is nearly a 3-hour movie, but he's probably like in the last 45 minutes or something, and that's like a testament to.
They didn't need him.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. And I think an inexperienced director would have tried to shoehorn him in so much earlier. But I love this movie. Visually, it was absolutely stunning.
It deserves best cinematography, and it was
Hands
shot
down.
by Roger Deakins, who has not won best cinematography
If,
today,
if Roger
which is
Deakins
ridiculous.
does not win cinematography for this movie, then we should riot at the Oscars.
I mean, it's absurd that he has not won before. So,
So this,
hopefully he gets this one.
this I think will be the one.
I hope
I don't
so,
see
yeah.
how it couldn't. Yeah, but Roger Deakins was absolutely great with the cinematography and the color. The color and all of that was just so well. Hans Zimmer, I loved his score. I am a big fan of the original Blade Runner score and this score. I can listen to the score on repeat over and over. Love some of the music. Rain on the soundtrack is just
Yeah, they're
phenomenal.
very unique.
And yeah, like you were saying when you were talking about it, is the look and kind of the study of how we would behave with this new technology that we have, and kind of looking at like what is real, what is considered human in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways in this movie, the robots, what do they call them?
Replicants.
The replicants. Wow.
Forgot your favorite movie.
I know, yeah, I'm the worst. The replicants act more human than the humans do, and that is also kind of back in the original
Really
Blade Runner.
interesting.
And also, with this movie, how they kind of improved Blade Runner. I like Blade Runner, the original one, but I wouldn't say it's anywhere. I'm one of those people that doesn't quite get it. It's a little out there for
I'm
me.
there too.
It's still a good movie. I can respect it in a lot of sense, but
Visually very nice, but the story to me
yeah.
seems
And also,
pretty basic.
it took something that was weird and kind of irrelevant in the movie, and this kind of like macho man relationship that Rachel and Deckard had, and actually gave it some purpose and some meaning.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it probably improved Blade Runner
It probably did, yeah.
because of that. It was such a compelling storyline, so well crafted, and the plot twists and the different things that were going on. Is he the actual son, or is he just a replicant?
One
like
of
where?
the best scripts I've seen recently.
I agree. I thought it was a great way to come back into this world, and they built upon this world really nicely. They didn't try and add in all these crazy different things with the special effects. They knew the universe that they were in, and they kept it grounded in that, and they looked at it, okay, this is 30-something years in the future. What would the Blade Runner universe look like and act like 30 years down the road? And I think that was great, because, in certain movies, I won't really name them, but the Star Wars prequels, you get in the future, which the original movies are in the future, you have this kind of old school computer screens, World War II-ish type of vibe, and then the prequels, which are years and years before the originals, and they have all this crazy hologram and better technology that is not seen in the future, which doesn't make sense.
The downfall of the Republic.
I-
Why am I defending the prequels?
I don't know, but how about that? You didn't expect to be talking about the Star Wars prequels tonight, did you?
No.
But I love Blade Runner 2049. If you haven't seen that movie, you need to go see that movie.
Yeah. You should watch any of the ones in our top 10 list.
All of them deserve it, including the ones in our honorable mention. They all deserve to be seen and
Mhm.
experienced, and probably enjoyed by most of you all out there.
Yeah. I had a good time with this.
I did too. This was a lot of
Maybe we
fun.
can do this again next year.
Yeah, maybe we can, or maybe we can do some other things throughout the year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much if you're still here and listening to us. We really appreciate you tuning in and hearing our top 10 list.
Tell us how wrong we are, especially Parker for having Star Wars in his
Yeah.
sure he's gonna get a lot.
Controversy, stirring the pot.
Yeah.
That's what gets people.
But
That's what
anyway,
gets the views.
yeah, tell us how wrong we are, or tell us what your top 10 are, and tell us if you like this video and if you want to see more like this, I guess.
All right, guys, we're gonna head on out. Thanks so much for watching, and explosions.